Younes is back. Younes is back. Younes is back. Younes is back. We don't do normal intros around here. Big up your damn selves. Welcome back to All You Can Eat Chelsea. As you can see, Younes is back. Do you know what I'm saying? The cast and crew, All You Can Eat Chelsea, all that good stuff. I can see it already in the comments. I'm going to be watching this when I'm premiering. Everybody going to be shitting themselves. Block capital letters. Oh my God. You know when Younes uploaded his first video back, I went to the comments immediately. I just wanted to see the reaction. And people looked like they were having strokes.
It's true, you know. People were buzzing. I was buzzing, to be fair. Yeah, it's good to be back. It's good to be back. Hey guys, man, how you guys doing?
Yeah, it's great. I'm buzzing. Like I said, you know, usually on morning, I'm a little bit slow. I'm not a morning person, but this one I was energetic. I didn't even need a Red Bull or Monster or anything. I'm just going off not water. Miss, bro, how you doing? Man. You good?
Yeah, bro. It's so good to see Younes back, man. As we were saying offline, that it feels like it's been like 5 years since I last saw him. I mean, so much has happened. He's a married man. We don't have Thomas Tuchel, got a new manager. You know, Queen's passed away, and so many things has happened.
Fucking hell, Younes, mate. You better not leave again because what did you?
Honestly, I was telling him if he stayed any longer, I think the world would have finished. It just would have finished. You know,
that is ridiculous. Like
mad.
That as you list all that stuff, I'm just thinking about it and I'm realizing you're right. Like since he's last been on this show, it's just been the apocalypse. Like literally,
bro.
And that was 3 weeks ago, Matisse.
So he's had something every week happen.
Yeah. I left. I come out of Antalya Airport. I get to the hotel, and then I look back on the news and I see the UK is now on flames. I'm just like, what's going on? What did I just leave? What am I coming back to? Like, it's crazy. Yeah, Tuchel's gone. We ain't spoken since that. Like,
we haven't spoken
gone.
since that. Yeah.
Before Harry that, though, Younes,
no, Lee Gunner's in charge.
I have to say, the singlet Younes was the bomb. The videos on the singlet, man, talking about, you know, the new manager, Thomas Tuchel out. I'm like, what is this brother doing? Put some shirt on, bro.
Bro, it's roasting over there, man. I wasn't putting anything on. Literally, you walk in just going, yeah, just in shorts and you're sorted.
I was like, is Younes about to start doing a different type of content? What's going on here? Different types of collabs.
And you know what, Matisse? He was doing live streams as well for like 15 minutes, 14 minutes. And then initially he's like, am I live? Am I?
No, you know what's mad? Like, I realized the internet over there was a little bit dodgy. And I'm thinking, okay, I have to try and find a way to get this out fast. So I saw a little loophole and I was like, okay, if I do a private live stream, do that and then launch it as an upload, it will go quick. And I did that.
Okay.
Hence why I had to do it that way, because if I did it the traditional way and uploaded, I'd be there for like 3 hours just waiting for an upload on my phone.
Just, I hear you.
So, but yeah, and it was crazy because I was like, I'm not really going to do much content out there. And then all of a sudden, Tuchel sacked. Crap. Okay, got to do a video. Got a new manager. Okay, got to do a video.
Like these are must dos.
They're must dos, isn't it? I can't leave that. Just leave everyone hanging.
I was explaining that to the wife.
I know. I was just gonna say.
She was amazing. She was cool through that. Even prior to going, I gave her the forewarning. I was like, when we're out there, I'm gonna have to do a couple of videos. You know this. She's like, yeah, cool, go for it.
You know what
everything started happening. Huh?
You know what you signed up for.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I was just gonna say, man, like it's good that your missus, like, she understands, you know, your profession, like what you need to do and whatnot. It was so hard for me to get my wife around initially. Like, she was up until probably 6 months ago, she was still telling me, quit now.
No way.
Excuse me? I'm waking up at like 2 a.m. to do some of this stuff. So, yeah, quit. I want you to quit.
Go to bed.
Yeah.
I'm on the road to 20K. Do you understand what that means?
Quit. I've actually thrown that to her as well. Matisse, like when I was close to 10,000, I'm like about to get 10,000 subscribers. Yeah, quit now. Not supportive one bit, but yeah, now recently, yeah, she's coming around. So.
All you need to do, right, is go out in London, all three of us, I'm hoping, and bring your wife as well, Miz. And then because I've been stopped in London quite a few times, it's always a very weird experience for me. But I always also really do appreciate it because I'm like, wow, people are actually watching this. These numbers are real, and it's always very humbling. And if us three walk around together, it will only take so long. Bring your wife as well. We'll be stopped, and then she'll be like, "Whoa, my husband is famous."
That's the way to get her.
That. Then we just need to line up a TV appearance. Sky Sports, bang. Then she turns on the TV. She sees you. Oh, my husband is famous, bro. Those two things there. She'll never ask you to quit again and be over.
Sorted.
Done.
Sorted. She'll never ask you to come to bed ever again. You stay there. Don't come. It's fine.
I'm barely in bed anymore, man. I'm like up silly hours, man. She got no idea when I'm waking up, when I'm sneaking out of the room and whatnot. Good thing, at least I'm not sneaking out for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. Just to make that clear.
Yeah. Not sneaking out for the.
I have to do the same thing when I'm recording the roundabout. But to be fair, I haven't recorded it because I've just been. There hasn't been much going on. And I've been this, by the way, welcome to the show. We're just catching up. Yeah, we ain't seen each other in a while. First 10 minutes, we just go and catch up. You don't want to hear all about this. You just scroll on to the 10-minute mark. You find the Chelsea chat right there. Dog. I was meant to be recording the roundabout for the last 2 weeks. And I'm usually, I painfully, luckily nothing really happened as well, which is probably why I didn't actually do it in the end. But I painfully make the mistake of getting into bed, like doing all of the spooning, all the cuddling. And then when it's time for my alarm goes off at 12 o'clock, time to get out for the roundabout, I'm looking at that thing. I'm like, nope. Back to bed. Going back to sleep.
Do I have to do this?
I don't know how you do it, with how you get up, because once I'm in bed, I'm not moving. Like, that's why I don't go to bed.
See, you actually step out of your place. Like, you are out. Like, I would not be out. There are times where it's a thunderstorm, there's hail, there's this, there's that. It's cold. I would not be out. And then there's strange people around as well at weird times. So I'm not going to go out there to do videos and then get murdered or something like that. But at home, like, it's just become part of my lifestyle now, man. Like, it's body clock now. I just wake up in silly hours but I sleep early as well, so I guess.
Gavi, you just tell her it's Gavi and Pedri ball. Like, what do you want?
That is it. You have to start showing her some of the games and be like, "This is what you're missing out on. This is what I have to watch."
Do you know what? Do you know what she does sometimes? Because she knows, like, I follow Chelsea. You guys all follow Chelsea, and she'll just to piss me off. She'll be like, "Oh, Liverpool's such a good team, aren't they? They're such a good team." I'm like, it's Chelsea versus Crystal Palace. Where's Liverpool coming from?
Wow.
She's like, I just think they're a good team. I'm like, okay, well, stuff you too.
I love that.
Oh, you got to try and convert her, man. You got to try and get her to become a Chelsea fan.
Bruh, one day she's Liverpool, one day she's talking about Arsenal, every other team besides Chelsea, just to piss me off.
When I was asking my girlfriend to name footballers, she was like, David Beckham and Wayne Rooney.
She's stuck in 2005.
Bro, it's like she's playing Prevolution. It's like she's playing Prevolution 04. Yes. I was like, bro, like, wake up. Do you know what I mean? FIFA is soon to not even exist. It's going to be EA Sports or something. You need to get with the times, talking about David Beckham, Wayne Rooney. These people are managers now.
Man red and man blue. And
Red, oh my god.
Man red, yeah, oh my god.
Barcelona was Catalonia, right?
Yeah, something like that. Chelsea was London blue or something like that.
London blue, West London blue. Yeah.
Speaking of which, are you guys getting FIFA 23? Because I am.
I haven't even checked to see what's offering.
Bro, so I went to game. So yesterday I went to Brighton to pick up the rest of Potter's things, right? Graham Potter. I was like, let me pick up the rest of your shit, bro. Don't worry about it. Took my girlfriend with me and made it into a trip, right? I'm really going to go and get Trossard. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm looking around. She's like, yo, why aren't you relaxed? We're just walking down the coast. And she's like, yo, where's Trossard? I should have vlogged it, to be honest. It would have been a great vlog. But I went to game in Brighton because I was like, I don't really feel like I have a great chance in London of getting a PS5. I'm getting the FIFA 23 bundle with it as well. FIFA. So I obviously went there for a trip, but then I was like, I actually want PlayStation as well. I haven't got PS5. I haven't even got the console. So I was like, maybe just go into the game and just see if I can pre-order the bundle PS5 with the FIFA 23. They were like, yeah, no problem. It's coming in on Friday. I was like, okay. Because the PS5 have been so difficult to get hold of. I've just given up. I gave up years ago. I was like, you know, I don't give a shit anymore. But now that the FIFA 23 is coming out, it's the last FIFA. I realized I'm on Twitch. I could game it. I could stream it. So what I'm going to do, and I love that way I'm talking to you, but everybody else is listening as well. You guys are getting the information, right? The exclusive. What I'm going to do is, Miz, do you remember when I used to have my old podcast and I interviewed you? And we had that host. I love those shows. I didn't know Younes at the time. I'm gonna we won't give the actual name because they're not going to find it and find all that juicy shit. And I told some wild stories on there. So on Spotify somewhere, but you won't find it, people. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get FIFA 23, put it on Twitch, stream it, but I'm going to play against someone in the community. I'm going to interview them, talk about life, personal stuff, nothing to do with football while we play football. So I'm looking forward to that. I've got a long list. You're both on it if you got FIFA. If you're going to get the game.
Well, I'm banned from getting it. I haven't had FIFA since I got married. So yeah, Younes, I don't know. Maybe your missus is going to be nice to you about this. Maybe she's going to categorically said, "You're not playing FIFA.
I know.
Your career is over. You're retiring." So
sign up for a sentence, or
she just clicks the retire button on career mode.
I said to her, like when we got married 10 years ago, I said, I want, but back then it was PS3. Okay, PS3. Do you know what I mean? Play FIFA. She goes, I don't think so. I don't think you are.
My girlfriend was the opposite. She's going to play with me.
We're going, yeah.
I will probably join in.
Nah, she will not. So I'm waiting for my son. Like,
but you got kids, that's the thing. Yeah, you got. I'm when your son, just buy it for Christmas. Yeah.
I'm showing it like on phone, like, hey, have a look at this. Console, you like this?
Yo, take a look at this, bro. You're really gonna like this console. and FIFA. Oh my god, you would love that game.
Do you know what, Matisse? He's into cars, bro. He's not into football.
Really?
Cars. Yeah, he's into like racing games, and
I do like racing games. To be fair, yeah.
So,
because if you get him to get FIFA and like football, then you'd be like, hey, wife, I gotta play with him. I gotta spend some quality time with my son. I can't not play FIFA with him. Are you gonna tell me to leave him on his own?
Do you
Sounds like neglect.
Do you want your son to be upset?
Cry. Yo, cry.
Your son to be bullied.
Cry.
You want to show up against friends and be crap. Let me help you.
Mrs. just stepping on his foot. Cry.
My son's like, Dad, what are you doing? I don't want to play FIFA. Shut your mouth, boy.
I told you I never wanted to play this game. I've always wanted to play racing games. Oh my god, can you imagine? But yeah, so yeah, I'm getting that. Going to be on Twitch, and I'm definitely having Alex on because these edits on Twitter, I don't know if you've seen them.
I've seen.
It's getting out of hand.
They're bad as well.
Bro, this is unacceptable.
What's happened?
I didn't. Do you know what? Maybe I'll just show you. Younes, I didn't authorize this, Younes. These edits that Alex is doing of me on Twitter is just.
He puts him on a ballerina dress. Like he'll have Matisse's face in a.
Is that why they were calling Auntie?
Yeah, bro. In the chat, they've called me Auntie, bro. Like Auntie Matisse, bro. Look. This is this is the image, bro. Like this is unacceptable. I can't be doing this.
Oh no.
Oh my goodness.
It's Maharaj Matisse.
Oh my god. It's ridiculous, man.
Become a thing.
Huh?
How did that become a thing?
Bro, I have bro. He started editing everyone. Now it's just me. No one else gets it anymore. You know, no, it's just me.
I've seen Pun get edited as well.
Yeah, but it's not as much.
I've
had like 20.
Yeah, you get smashed.
I've had like
that is bad.
I've had like 20, bro.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's peaking these streets, man. I'm not gonna lie. But anyway, welcome to All You Can Eat Chelsea. And this is the Chelsea part now, so welcome. But I'm pretty sure the Ride or Dies would have enjoyed that segment anyway, that little catch up. But now we will welcome you into the room. Welcome to the show. Let's discuss. I mean, we have Palace on the weekend, and usually, if this was a situation where Chelsea were playing how they were playing, you know, in the latter stages of the Tuchel era, I probably would have just carried on with the podcast of us talking about what we want, because I wouldn't have even wanted to talk about Chelsea and our next game and the way we're going to play. But it's a new era, it's a new dawn, it's a new day, and Potter is in the building. And first of all, I have to ask, of course, Younes, how do you even feel about all this? Like, what was your reaction? Like, not your reaction on YouTube, but your reaction when you read Tuchel had been sacked, and your reaction when you read Potter had been hired. Like, your instant Wow. Because, you know, usually on Twitter, we used to get it and it was beautiful because what was it? Capital letters? What was your thing? Miz's thing is always exclamation point. What's your thing? What was your thing on Twitter?
On Twitter.
Yeah, you had a certain way. You always quote tweeted.
I always quote tweeted.
Yeah, everybody has a style. Do you know what I mean? Everybody has a style. I could always know a Younes tweet. And I don't know what it was about the Younes tweets, but I knew what a Younes tweet looked like.
It was always a quote tweet.
Yeah,
and
always.
There were capital letters.
I think so. Like, you could tell Younes was excited or buzzing.
It was always
or
well
something.
structured.
Yeah. When he reacted to something. But yeah, how was you feeling?
But I remember it exactly because I was talking to my missus and I was showing her something on my phone. And no word of a lie, we were looking at something and I was pointing something out and I was halfway through sentence. And then Chelsea's notification popped up. Club statement. Thomas Tuchel. And we look at each other and I'm like, no fucking way. And I hit it and I'm like, for like 5 minutes, my jaw was on the floor. I didn't expect it that soon. We'd spoken about this, and I said it in my videos as well. I knew that there would eventually come a time where we would probably have to face the music if form continued to go in that manner. If we were continuing to do what we were doing, it was inevitable. But I had it in my head in the same way that Jose got it in Christmas or just before Christmas. I was thinking, late November, December, we might start having this conversation. Boom, he's already out of the building. And I'm like, this ain't right. So something's off. You can't make a decision like that based on, what was it, at the time, 4 or 5 Premier League games? That don't make sense, considering we've just spent how much for him, his players, and all of a sudden he's out the building. And it led me to think that, something must have gone down behind the scenes here. This is off the pitch. This isn't necessarily to do what's going on the pitch. There's more to this. So I was kind of like, if this was purely football, if this was purely on the pitch, I'd be like, this is way too soon. This is a ridiculous decision. But there's clearly devil in the detail here. There's something that, and then we start to hear later on about things that started kicking off during pre-season, even towards the end of last season. And I'm like, okay, if it's all of that, then I can, to an extent, understand it. But yeah, I still don't know what to think, because we know Tuchel's a good manager. He's not crap, right? Graham Potter, we all rate Graham Potter. I just hope the job's not too big for him. And I hope that he finds his feet and he can take himself to the next level. I don't want this to be a thing where he's just happy to be Chelsea manager because, oh my God, I'm at Chelsea. Wow. Like, you need to have a certain level of, I'm going to go in and smash this. I'm going to impose myself. I know exactly what to do. I hope he's got that. If he's got that, we'll be all right. But yeah, it was weird. It was weird to see Tuchel go like that.
Chelsea standards, because we always talk about Chelsea standards. Chelsea standards are not where they were in the first 10 years of the Roman era. Constant semi-final Champions League appearances, 2 final appearances in the Champions League, constant Premier League title races, first, second, first, second. It's Chelsea standards we aren't even meeting our own standards right now, which is dwindling in this top 4 race.
Yep.
Not really getting to the last stages of the Champions League outside of that one season that Tuchel won it for us. We have not reached the semi-final at all since Costa and Atletico Madrid. I keep saying it because I want people to really deep it when I talk to the viewers. Deep that 13-14 season, 1 semi-final appearance since then, and it was the time we won it. So we weren't getting to the last stages of the Champions League. And the cups, we have been losing finals for fun. That's not Chelsea. We usually win these finals. This is Didier Drogba time. This is like Chelsea Cup final at Wembley. We do our business. We take that trophy home. We've been losing them constantly. 5 Wembley defeats in a row. 5.
That's outrageous.
That's bad.
Liverpool twice. Man City, Arsenal, Leicester. 5 in a row. Bang, 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 bang. One after the other. God help the people that went to all 5. You may as well stop going, because clearly you're some sort of juju. Like, clearly, if you haven't got the message. If I went to 5 Wembley, I went to 1 of them. If I went to 5 Wembley defeats in a row, I'd stop going to Wembley finals, because I'd start to take that as I'm the problem. And if you have gone to all 5 of those, if you've gone to all 5 of those and you're still signing up in the waiting room and getting that ticket, you're being selfish. You're being selfish, and you're not thinking about the wider fan base. You're not thinking about the good of the football club. You're being selfish. So if you've gone to all 5 and you've lost all 5, don't go again. Simple as that. But that's not Chelsea. That's not Chelsea. And he needs to rise to our standards, but we also need to rise to our own standards as well as a football club. So everybody's kind of coming in, I guess, on a similar page. I saw Miz was talking on the TL about Trossard's contract being expiring. trying to see already who Brighton fans will not like us for this. Ben will not like us for this, the Brighton fan that we had on in the first episode that Younes was away. But Younes as well, I just ask you, is there anybody at Brighton that you want as well from Potter's team, I guess, to hijack and take?
Trossard is a weird one because I think right now, considering the way that we're attacking, especially those last few games where, by the way, like, we can't shoot, man. Oh my God. I'm sure you've seen exactly what I'm about to say, but my God, oh man, I wanted to punch the screen so many times during our last 2 games whilst I was away. I'm like, you can't shoot, man. So we'd probably take Trossard, wouldn't we? But when I hear Trossard go, yeah, I would definitely happily go to Chelsea, but I ain't going on the bench. I'm like,
oh no.
Okay, well, you got to prove yourself, mate.
Relax, you're Trossard.
Relax.
Don't get too excited now. Exactly.
I don't know. I'm seeing a lot of people. It was weird. I'm seeing a lot of people say, okay, we should take this player, we should take that player, we should take this player. We'll just turn into Brighton in that case. Like, we don't want to do that. Because Brighton, respectfully, will not win the Premier League title. They won't get top 4. They won't get European football. So, don't become Brighton. But their best players, I mean, as I've said, right now, what we desperately need is someone who's actually going to be scoring goals up top. Hopefully, Aubameyang gets into that. But Trossard is the most likely name, isn't it? And it seems like we're actually interested, and it seems like we could actually make a move for him. So apart from that, I don't see anyone else walking into the Chelsea team.
Do you know what? Yeah. Well, names like Trossard.
So we take Neil Maupay just to piss off Ty.
Well, he's already gone to
Everton, thank God.
Like, a lot of people, they tend to have it's Chelsea Football Club. We don't do these Trossards and Caicedos or Caicedo, however you want to pronounce it. But the way I look at it is, these are probably some really, really good Premier League players. Like, if you've seen what Liverpool has done in the past with Sadio Mane from Southampton, Virgil van Dijk, like, how many thought? So, like, everyone knew Sadio Mane was a very, very good player. Like, I don't know about you guys. Like, when he moved to Liverpool, I didn't think, they're getting, like, now that his career at Liverpool has finished, like, I had no idea that's the Sadio Mane they're going to get. At Southampton, he was very good, but I never, ever imagined in my wildest dream that, wow, this is the Sadio Mane that they got from Southampton? That's unbelievable. Virgil van Dijk, I think a lot of us probably felt, this guy's, I think, going to be a big-time defender. And he's proven to be in Liverpool. I look at this Trossard situation and also Caicedo, however you want to pronounce it, as these sort of scenarios where Trossard is a Belgian international, man. Like, this is not a joke. Like, Belgium is a very, very good team. He came on against Netherlands. He looked very, very sharp. He was taking his man on. I know what he said, that I'm coming to Chelsea. I don't want to be. I understand that, though. Like,
I get that. Yeah, I get that.
I don't want to move to just a team to be the bench warmer. Of course, you come to Chelsea to prove yourself, and that's how you get your spot. But I completely respect the fact that he doesn't want to just come to Chelsea to be a bench warmer. He's got desires to play and do well. Do you know what I mean? Like, and right now, if you look at Premier League experienced players, from an attacking standpoint, let's just say, outside of the top teams, because it's very difficult to lure their players to us, right? Yeah, like, for example, I'd like a Bukayo Saka at Chelsea. Do you know what I mean? That ain't happening. Yeah. That's not going to happen from Arsenal Football Club, right? And that's just the name that just popped. Yeah, that's just Bernardo Silva. Like, this is some of the names that's just popped up. But outside of that, would you guys say Trossard is probably one of the better attacking
and
players in the Premier
gettable
League.
as well, like you said, because of that contract running out. Like
6 months left.
Yeah, people will reel off like a cent maximum, but you know, Newcastle are going through their own rebuild or their own growth and their own, you know, situation. And I think he, you know, I'm not saying we couldn't get him if we wanted to, but he's, you know, they're probably he seems to like it there. And to be fair, in the final third, his finishing is still, you know, you still would say that he needs to continue to improve. I know he scored an incredible goal already this season. But he would cost a lot more. You know, Brighton, like you said, with this contract expiring, it would be a very easy deal to do. So it is an interesting one. But I agree with you. I mean, there's not really, when you go through it, it's like a Wilfred Zaha.
I think that boat's gone now, Matisse. Like we should have got him in the summer.
I think so. That's not happening.
That boat's gone. Yeah, he'll be 30, I think. So
yeah, he already is, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, he probably is.
Or he's there anyway. He's around there.
I remember when we had that Aubameyang like versus Zaha discussion, and I still believe that I would have preferred Wilfred Zaha. I mean, it's too early to worry about Aubameyang, and I'm not worried because he hasn't scored. I just really hope that he gives a shit. And you know what I mean by that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I really hope that he cares where we finish in this league this season. I really hope that he has the ambition and the motivation to be the best version of himself he can be. Because I don't need vibes. I don't need Ziyech's current mental state. I don't need that up front. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's just I'm intrigued to see how he gets on. But I would have preferred someone like Zaha, who I know has definitely got the bit between his teeth to kick on, because you know, he literally has to prove himself. This is his prime. This is his big opportunity. This is his chance to win trophies. And all these, he hasn't done any of these things. And I always look at that for a footballer. I think Chelsea, over the years, when they've done their recruitment, outside of just looking at the quality, I don't think we've looked at the person enough. The mental fortitude of the player.
Yeah, the
whether
individual.
they have the hunger and desire to do what we're trying to get them to do, whether they have the ambition, whether they have the mental capacity, whether they even have the physicality to handle the Premier League. You know, you look at some of these German slim, slight players that have come over that, you know, they're not bad players, but they have not been able to adjust to the Premier League, the physicality, the speed, the pace of it whatsoever. I mean, it's like we potentially haven't taken any of that into account. So it's an interesting one.
Although for Brighton, I have to say, for Brighton, there is one little lad that they do have that definitely springs to mind. They've got this lad called Billy Gilmour, haven't they? I think we should move him.
Oh man, I feel sorry for this guy. Eh? Like
he left, and then boom, we get Graham Potter.
Can I say though,
everything that he went for?
The player that he's going to be trying to potentially dislodge would be McAllister, and that's going to be very hard to do. McAllister's an Argentinian international.
He's
like Brighton got some internationals. They're like Pitbull.
Yeah.
International love. Do you know what I'm saying? It's serious.
And Matisse,
worldwide.
the new manager, the
We'll just call him Dave.
Sassuolo manager or whatever. Anyway, from Italy. He's potentially going to bring his players as well now from Italy, like players that he knows, and he's developed some really, really good ones as well. So I hope Billy Gilmour can impress this guy, because I'm worried about this guy's career. Like,
even though we don't even own him anymore, just out of sure care. And even Levi Colwell as well is on loan there, and he just got man of the match to England under the 21s as well.
I know we don't own him, but it just, do you know what I mean? Like, he's still, like, if you know, he's from the academy and he had so much about him. He, you know, came into the scene with a massive burst, and then, oh man, that Norwich loan, and now he doesn't even start for Scotland. He was starting for Scotland at once upon a time. I believe in the Euros.
He was smashing it.
Yeah, he was starting.
He doesn't even start for Scotland anymore. So, you know,
does he not?
No, he doesn't start. He's in the bench, and we've seen it, boys, haven't we? Like, superstar sort of vibe, feel that they're going to be something, and then before you know, they're 28, 29, and their careers just fizzled out. Like
Josh McCracken.
Happens all the time. Oh, Josh McCracken was a big example. Yeah.
He
fizzled away. Where is he now?
Wow, I'm not even sure. He's probably
still in the academy
football league.
Is he still playing football?
Yeah, definitely is. He's somewhere in the academy though. Wow, I'm looking at this. You're right. He's not even starting.
Nah, he's not starting, bro. Because I wanted to see him play, but he wasn't starting.
He's on the bench the last 2 games. But this is Billy Gilmour.
At the end of the day, when you're not playing, no, Gareth Southgate. When the player's not playing, don't pick him.
playing in midfield ahead of him now.
You know?
Yeah.
He used to be a centre back.
Yeah.
That's mad.
It's mad.
Damn, Scotland are serious.
And they done well. I mean, they finished top of their Nations League group. They're promoted now to League A. So they've done well.
Mad. Well, while you was away, me and Miz was fantasizing about this 3-3-3-1 formation. That Potter's been playing in that first. Well, that was our interpretation. Everybody's gonna have their own interpretation of the formation against Salzburg because there was just so much going on. But I guess what are the do's and don'ts for Palace? Or are we not even at that stage where we're at that? Probably not even at that stage of do's and don'ts. But what do you want to see against Palace away? I guess, like, what kind of team do you want to see, Younes?
I mean, I said this in my preview for Salzburg. I think there's a lot of experimenting going on. To be fair to him, he has to. I get it, but there are certain things where it's almost a given. You know, it's like when he was playing. When we started the Salzburg game, it seemed like it was a back four to begin with, and then we realized no, it was a back three, and then you could start seeing it was shifting and whatnot. So Aspie being on that lineup, I thought initially was a right back, and I'm like, what are we doing? Oh no, not a right back, a centre back. I thought he was just a standard centre back, one of the two. I'm like, you all right? What are you doing? But then after you realize, and this is the whole thing, there's gonna be things that Graham Potter's going to try, and he's going to try and find his way. And I do believe that's going to take maybe 3 to 5 games for him to be able to construct something that he can start moving with. So considering we got Palace, and all due respect to Palace, they're a good team, to be fair. And with Vieira, they've been doing well.
They're doing real well, actually.
Yeah. I can get why there'd still be a little bit of tinkering going on. But honestly, the fundamentals are the fundamentals. The fundamentals of right now, on the left-hand side, you either choose a Cucurella or you choose a Ben Chilwell. And Ben Chilwell's been doing well with the competition. Fair play to him. Reece James on the right-hand side. The centre-backs, I think, is a given. Instead of, playing whoever, I mean, Koulibaly's there. Use him. Fofana's there.
Not trying to see Aspilicueta too much now. I think that's it.
This is my point. Yeah, he's come first game into the job. Okay, cool. We'll let it slide. But you got those two big central defenders. They're playing. If you're playing in a back four, cool, you're going to have to make a decision about Thiago Silva. If not, then it's those three, surely. Koulibaly, Fofana, Silva.
The centre-backs are splitting, isn't it? I think Fofana is probably the most likely to be that right side splitter, with Cucurella obviously on the left as a splitter. And then it maybe Silva or Koulibaly in the middle. And then you've had James as a winger and Sterling as a winger. This is where Trossard would feel that he could get involved as well. I feel like even Callum Hudson-Odoi would have been better suited than a Pulisic or Ziyech to be that guy right now from a mental standpoint, but obviously he's not here. And I haven't given up on these two individuals of Pulisic and Ziyech because it's a new manager and I'm expecting new motivation and new effort. But my patience is non-existent as well, to the point where it's that thin. It's a thread.
I agree.
It's a thread. And it's like, if they're going to continue with all of this carry on for the next couple of weeks or whatever until the World Cup, then just in January, we have to let them go. We have to let them go. I heard that Greg was managing the US over the international break and Pulisic kind of walked off. I don't know if maybe Tuchel was in disguise somewhere in America, getting involved in the US games, and that's cause for why they haven't had any shots in the last couple of games. And, the performances seem to have carried to the internationals. Maybe this Tuchel's fault as well. But
it's true.
I don't know what's going on.
There is one thing I want to say about Graham Potter in his last game that I thought was actually quite smart, which we've not seen before, is Sterling playing deeper.
He was Sterling on almost
as a left wing back. And that allowed him to attack and run into space a lot more, which kind of caught Salzburg off guard on that left-hand side. Instead of being very far forward, and then you're just going to have to go one-on-one in a tight space. He comes deep, he collects the ball, he gets some pace, he gets some speed, he starts going, and you see him in his rhythm. And I think that was one thing that Graham Potter did do that I thought smart, because that's getting the best out of Sterling. But yeah, the rest I think is gonna fit itself. It's gonna be a couple of games, I think, before we start seeing some rhythm. But ultimately, the key is, again, I go back to this point. We could have the best lineup in the world. We could have, the best build up in the world. If we can't shoot, what's the point?
This is the point I was going to get to. I mean, we almost had like a Sarri-esque midfield, Miz, with like Mount, Cover, Jorginho, Jorginho at the base, and then Cover and Mount just ahead. Kai in the free role. Kai obviously scores. I know you follow Germany a lot. 3-3 against England. Great goal from Kai.
Great game, actually.
Mount scores as well. 2 goals for Kai. What are your confidence levels in Kai? Because I thought he got a brilliant free role against Salzburg. I thought it was the perfect role for him. If he can't perform in that role behind a striker like Aubameyang, then I don't know what we're going to do. For Germany, he gets his 2 goals there. One of them, the first one was really brilliantly taken. The second one, more of a mistake from Pope. Did you take any confidence with that finish at Wembley? Do you think that can maybe translate to Selhurst Park? Would you play him again? Because I remember when we spoke about this game with who did we have on after this one? I think we had let me think. Who did we have on?
Robertson.
Yes. Robertson. Yeah, exactly. That was a big one.
Robertson. That was a great episode.
I was getting it confused with Goonie as well because we had Goonie on last time.
Yeah,
I was so disappointed in Kai's performance against Salzburg. I really was.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I wouldn't drop him because I don't think chopping and changing constantly is the way forward. And he's probably the only player that we have right now that could play that 10. Some people are saying Pulisic. I don't know how you feel. How do you feel about it?
Look, I actually took the liberty to watch some of these international matches because I wanted to see what the mood is with these players when they play in the international scenes, right? So start with Kai Havertz. He started off as a striker, false nine, whatever you want to call, initially in the first half, and he stunk up the place. He was literally nowhere there. He couldn't control the ball. His hold-up wasn't there. He was just getting bullied by, the England 3 defenders, right? It was just too difficult for him. But in the second half, Timo Werner comes on, and he's playing just behind Timo. And all of a sudden, he's finding those little spots in midfield, and he's picking up those space. And obviously, the goal that he scored, Timo had the ball, saw Kai open, and England was so deep. Kai just looked up and he banged it in. But there were a few other little bits and pieces that was really, really nice from Kai's game in that second half. But overall, it wasn't still a polished effort. Don't get it one bit twisted. He scored 2 goals. As you said, Mr. T, second one was a mistake. And the first one was an absolute banger. But overall, it wasn't a polished effort by a stretch at all. However, who else am I going to use in that spot? Like, I would still go with that formation, 3-3-3-1, and play a sort of like a diamond in midfield, so deepest midfielder, 8s, and then sort of like a second striker, central attacking midfielder, whatever you want to call it, just behind the striker, whether that's Aubameyang or Amanda Broya, whoever it is, we'll see. But who else are you going to put? If it's not Kai, is it Mason Mount? Like, I know he scored another really, really good goal for England, but let's not forget it was Saka's individual effort that created that moment and that layoff pass for Mount to score that, taking nothing away from Mount. But Mount can't do what Saka did. And that is what I'm looking for in that number sort of 10 role just behind the striker. What Saka was able to do, disrupt the defense and then setting someone up. So if it's not Kai, I don't think Mount can play that position. I think Mount a little bit more deeper in midfield. Is it Pulisic? I watched Saudi Arabia versus USA, right? And I thought USA was going to do really well.
What happened?
Oh my God. 0-0 and USA
in that game.
Oh my, I honestly thought maybe Pulisic was going to bag a few. So that's why I was more interested. So I can actually do a positive video on Christian Pulisic. Ended up being a negative video. And do you know what? USA, no structure, no nothing. But on top of that, nothing, barely anything went through Pulisic. Like, he was just hanging out on that left side, barely touching the ball. I'm going, what's the role? Like, what is Pulisic's role in USA? Like, is he going to be the playmaker? Is he the one that, scores? Like, what is he? What's the role for him? And then surely enough, after 70th minute, I think he got subbed off, and it was a lackluster performance. So how am I going to put Pulisic in that number 10 role for him to now come and create for Chelsea after, do you know what I mean? Like, so many lackluster performances for Chelsea, and then on top of that, in the international scene, it wasn't that great. So, look, for me, I'd keep Havertz. Honestly, I'd keep Havertz there. I'm not totally convinced because I still want to see consistency, better efforts. But Havertz for me for the time being, man.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think for me, I've always had, I mean, Havertz, I have question marks around right now, but definitely with Pulisic as well. I mean, awareness-wise, I'm always worried whether he's really spotting what's around him, whether he's running with his head down and focused on carrying the ball. That used to be a big concern and a problem for him. But even going past players now, his dribbling has regressed over the last year. It's not been as frightening and as devastating as it was, say, in the Champions League run or say in the purple patch that he had before, where he was just going past players for fun, winning fouls. I remember he had the record for player most fouled against Porto, I think, when we played away from home to them in the Champions League run. He was fouled constantly, but that's because he was constantly trying to go past players. I don't really see that.
He doesn't look right.
No, I don't see that.
He just doesn't look right. I think it's one of those things where, if possible, I'd sit him down and go, "Are you okay? Like, talk to me. Forget football. Are you okay?" Just on a personal level, because
he's definitely not.
He'll tell you to read the book then to see.
I want. When's that book coming out in the UK? Because I'm actually going to read that.
Yeah, what's going on with? Like, I know you put a video out, Miz, didn't you? And you spoke about all that. But what's happened? What book is this? What's going on?
So apparently, he's put out a book that's titled "My Journey So Far." He's 23 or 24. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And there's a whole heap of stuff, but there's an extract. Not the entire thing is not about Tuchel, but there's an extract in that book where he specifically talks about the moment, that semi-final game against Real Madrid, where there was a long ball from Antonio Rudiger, and he got to the end of it, and then he ended up scoring where we ended. I think we took the lead 1-0.
Yeah.
In the first leg, and apparently Tuchel screamed from the touchline saying, "Don't make that run. You hold in your pocket." And he disobeyed the commands and went on to score. A lot of people are trying to say, "Muse, I don't see anything wrong with that. Well, what's so wrong with it?" Have a look at the extract, the way it has been written, almost to suggest this gaffer's got no idea what he's doing. He told me not to make that run. I made that run. I got that goal. Like, do you know what I'm talking about, Younes? Like, you can sometimes tell without you actually saying it. I know what you're trying to say. Yeah, I know what you're trying to say. You don't need to really spell it out. I see what you're trying to say. And there were a couple other few bits and pieces. How he goes that he was promised that he was going to get that second leg off the back of that fine performance in that first leg, and it was a fine performance. And he was rested against Fulham the game before the second leg, promised that he was going to get that game, and he was baffled that Thomas Tuchel went with Havertz. And I'm thinking in my head, dude, do you realize a coach, just because they promised you 2 days ago you're going to play something, he must have felt something that, do you know what, maybe it's Havertz's game, this one. Maybe this is the one. And he was proven right. He won the game and he won the Champions League, dude.
You know what's mad?
That's why I don't get that criticism. I'm like, bro, we won the Champions League. What are you?
Yeah. You know what's nuts? He's writing a book talking about, and hence we know Thomas Tuchel's not in a job now, but I'm guessing this book was written when Thomas Tuchel was in a job, right?
Yep.
Jaap Stam done the same thing years ago and spoke about things happening at Manchester United. What did Sir Alex do the very next day that book was launched? Didn't even tell him that he'd been sold. You're gone. He showed up to training and I was like, "What are you doing here?" Like, "I've come to train." "No, you got a plane going back to Italy. Go to the airport." Yeah. Alex Ferguson doesn't mess about. There are things that you just don't talk about. If it's for the dressing room, it's for the dressing room. It does not leave the dressing room. Those sort of details come out when you retire, or when there's
years
no longer
after retirement, Younes. Years
exactly.
after retirement. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Then you can write a book and start talking about the finer details and all that. But if you had already done a book saying those sort of things when Tuchel was in a job and you were ready to put those things out, That does not fly, man. If it was Sir Alex, Pulisic would be gone.
And you know what, Younes? Just quickly, Matisse, you know what, boys? He had no idea that Tuchel was going to get the sack. So this book was going to come out regardless if Tuchel was staying.
Exactly, that's my point.
How would that go down if
Tuchel was still the manager?
That's mad. I mean, when we were speaking about on the Queen's Speech podcast, and Anita brought up the point that he's probably maybe doing it to obviously make money because he's got a big profile in America, you know, and that's going to sell out, and that's going to potentially cover him just in case he was to get a massive injury. And he's quite injury prone, so I can understand maybe he feels like his career is a little bit at risk and whatnot in terms of his earnings and whatnot. But my biggest thing with it is that you don't know if Tuchel's going to be your manager again. So you best be careful, because if you plan on playing for top clubs, he's going to be managing top clubs. Yeah. You tend to bump into these people again at some point. You know what I mean? Like, say Pulisic, I don't know, those links with Juventus. Maybe Tuchel ends up at Juventus. You never know. And it doesn't have to be a thing where you as a player know that Tuchel's at the club and you're going to then choose whether or not to join the club, or he probably just wouldn't want you. He may come in because the manager that you've joined, Allegri, is sacked, and Tuchel comes in, and then you've got to see him at the training ground. So
you got a problem.
Yeah, you got a problem. So you know, you never know in football.
And do you know what, Matisse? How's Graham Potter taking all of this? You've already talked behind a manager. How confident can I feel as a manager now that you ain't going to do that to me?
Yep.
What happens if Graham Potter doesn't play him for the next... Because in October, we've got a lot of games. So potentially you'd think Christian Pulisic should start and feature. But let's just say for the first few matches, for one reason or another, Graham Potter doesn't favour Pulisic. What happens then? How's Graham Potter feeling about all of these nonsense that's going around in social media? Is he impressed? I don't think as a manager... Do you know what I mean? Like, and Tuchel... Graham Potter and all of these managers, they have a unity, man. This is the managers' unity. You think they're not going to share conversations together and whatnot? Maybe not on a regular basis, but you never know. They could bump onto each other. Do you know what I mean? Sooner or later. And then you just don't do that, man.
This is the thing as well with these players. Some of them, you know, like a Pulisic, let's not, you know, kid ourselves. He's not just an average footballer. Like, he's a big presence in terms of the name and, you know, at the club. He's big. Like, can Potter manage those sort of mentalities, that level, considering he's at Chelsea Football Club? And at Chelsea, most times, the players get their way.
Yeah.
Just get their way. We're going to have to see. But that's one thing that, in my head, I hope Graham Potter can sort out.
They can't get their way this time, surely, because of that length of contract. Do you know? So yeah. I'm looking at it thinking 5-year deal.
It's a massive deal, by the way.
60 million contract. Unless, I mean, the sporting director thing, I don't know who's going to end up obviously being appointed. It feels like it's a little bit all over the shop again. Yeah. I would love to see Edwards.
Still open,
There's a short list, and I saw Overmars on the short list, and I swear we just sacked someone because of their communications with a female. Yeah. Do you even know what Overmars was on? Like, literally earlier this year.
And where's Paul Mitchell in that list?
Yeah, true. Where is Paul Mitchell in that list? So,
I mean, we're going up by Leverkusen guy now, aren't we?
Yeah, and why is the list so public, man? You might as well just hang it outside Stamford Bridge.
Do we want a Bundesliga expert as well?
It's what it seems like all we're going for, Bundesliga. We went for the Salzburg guy. We went for the Leipzig guy. We're going for the Leverkusen guy. I mean, at this rate, we might as well just get Beckenbauer.
And now apparently it's all coming around, and there could be an internal promotion, which, do you know what?
We sacked everyone.
I hope we're not rushing.
Over
Todd
Zoom
Boehly,
as well.
Todd
Over Zoom.
Todd Boehly, I have decided that I will hire Todd Boehly as the new sporting director.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, and over Zoom. I mean, yeah.
Do you know what? Like, I understand. I've gone through that when like my company was taken over by a new ownership. I understand that the new owners will have their own vision and they'll bring their own people, which they do. People that they know, they go and bring them and they're part of the organization. I get it. But I don't know about you two. I've never seen where literally they've decimated everyone in the space of less than 6 months.
Yep.
I've never seen that.
No, neither have I. That's what worries me.
I've always seen that over time, they've got their people in. But they've waited. They've waited for transitional period, and they've waited for these people to sort of do a handover and get to know. But Todd Boehly's come out and just see you later. I don't know if that sort of generates good vibes within the players. Like, that's a lot to take in, man. Like, you walked in and knew everyone. Do you know what I mean? Exactly. And now you walk in, you don't even know the doctor anymore. Like, you're going to be working on my body. I don't know who you are.
This is the thing. And when you're seeing that much change, you'd like to think like that much change that quickly, because as I've already said, and you've just said it as well, we're not against there being change or transition or handovers. Handovers are key in any organization. When you're getting rid of that much people that quickly, you'd like to think, okay, he's got people in place ready to step in now. It's just a matter of fire this guy. Okay, you're hired. We already know you're coming in. Now you're coming in. We don't have that. We've already heard that for the sporting director role, it's going to take another 2 months or so before someone's in the job. Same goes for a technical director role. Same goes for the medical director role. We're now apparently having conversations to try and see who we're going to hire for the medical department, the physios, the director. So we've just fired these guys without actually anyone in place.
That's bad.
What are we doing?
That's bad.
That's insane. No, I'm not against getting rid of people if you have a fixed replacement there ready. You have a vision. You want this guy. Cool. Do it. You just sack and then think, okay, now we've got to try and find someone. What?
I just hope we aren't rushing the decision, because I don't know all of these guys we're going after. But Edwards, everybody knows, right? And that would have been an incredible coup. But obviously, it's not going to happen until summer at the earliest. And I understand that he wants somebody in place before then, because he doesn't want to do the January transfer window. Todd Boehly doesn't want to do the summer window, which he would have to do as well, because Edwards would come in the summer, but he wouldn't be ready then for the actual summer window. But I hope we aren't just picking up anybody, because this is a very important role and it shapes the football club and the style of how you're going to play.
Do you know what, Matisse? Apparently, they're not just randomly doing it. Like, they're going for people who are very, very involved in data analytics.
Data driven, yeah.
And I'm all down for data. Like, honestly, I am. But
I get where you're going, man.
I know where you're going with this.
I completely agree with you, man.
Please use your eyes as well.
Yeah, please.
We don't want robots.
I'm not going to name the account, but there's this specific account on Twitter that you guys probably will know, but I'm not going to name the account. And a player could have had a shit game, and they'll put up all of the statistics. And it's not Statman
Dave. Shame on you, brother. Shame. You can make a idiotic player look like he's had a glamorous man of the match. Nah, man, stop it, man. Close that account.
Bro, the player hasn't even had a good game, but all of the statistics in the line will just go up. Brilliant performance. I'm like, what? And in the bio it says analyst. You're not analyzing though. You're just reeling off the stats and just throwing it out there. Great performance. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I hope we don't become sofa score merchants. Data. But where?
Yeah.
Who's going to use their eyes? This is why I'm such a massive fan of Campos, because he wasn't just data driven. He built his own software. He has his data. He has all of that, but he goes and watches really studies the players. That he doesn't just buy them off data. He buys them because he's witnessed them in person multiple times, or his team has witnessed them multiple times. He goes and actually scouts. I feel like scouts now, it's all about being in a computer, like being in a lab on a computer. Yeah. And just like getting all the data, putting it into Microsoft Excel. Here's the players. Like, you have to go and watch the players, please.
There's a human aspect to not just footballers, positions. There's a psychological aspect. There's an emotion.
We spoke about this earlier. We want to know the player, like know the person that you're signing.
Exactly. You can't get data for that. You just can't. You have to know the person. Like, that's just being human. We're getting rid of that. Like, that's just we don't want robots.
I feel like that's the part of Liverpool's recruitment that we've really underestimated. Is they actually look at the person. They study the person, the background, the come up, the journey, the profile, the family. They study everything about the person, so they know who they're bringing into the environment. It's not just data. That's not what they don't just go off data and just bring in anybody, because I think they learned from that Balotelli. You remember when they had Balotelli under Rodgers? They've learned. They've learned. They're like, hold on a second, what the hell are we actually doing?
Yeah.
And I haven't seen any chaos or any drama at that club since they had Balotelli, because they just don't allow it to happen. And it's similar with Pep. You know, they're
data cannot give you character analysis.
No.
A data can tell you, okay, they press well, they do this, they do that, but they won't tell you, do they train well? Do you know what I mean? Like, what's their attitude? Like, I'm not talking about the details of the training. I'm talking about what is their attitude? What is their mood like? What do they do during the weekend? How do they, you know, what's their downtime like? What are they up to? Data's not going to give you. Character analysis is a totally different thing, man. Like, yeah, that's one. Like, I don't know if you guys know this. You know Anthony Gordon, the rumor. We all thought, oh, that's Thomas Tuchel. Thomas Tuchel, if he wants it, let's give him. By the way, can we never ever say that about a manager ever again? Yeah, if the manager, apparently a lot of the signings that's come through, a lot of them weren't even Thomas Tuchel. That's who he wanted. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, going back to the Anthony Gordon one, we all thought maybe it was Thomas Tuchel's choice. He saw something, maybe he's going to use him on the right wing back spot, so on and so forth. But no, apparently this was the numbers were crunched, and Todd Boehly and his data analytics team picked up that Anthony Gordon could fit that right wing back role, and they were willing to pay exuberant amount of money. And I'm like, look, I like Anthony Gordon. I've watched a bit of Everton, but calm yourself down. There is a lot of growth that still needs to happen. There's a lot of, he's a young player. There's a lot of stuff that, you know, in terms of his character building that needs to happen. And this is where I'm worried. I'm hell excited with all of these youngsters that Todd Boehly is buying. You know, Luke Harris apparently is the next phenomenon from Fulham, 17-year-old kid who's banging in goals, this, that, the other.
Why did I see a 30 million link for him though?
Yes, 30 million, Matisse. 30 million for a 17-year-old Fulham Academy player. Because his stats look good.
I hope they realize that at some point financial fair play will be a thing for them.
I mean, when you're looking at Todd Boehly and what's going on, I mean, even this morning there was the whole thing about Todd Boehly beginning the process to find other clubs to invest in, and they've already started that process to look at clubs in like Belgium and Portugal and Brazil and all of that. And I saw there was one tweet not long, a few minutes ago. Mark Austin, he's a Sky News presenter, I think, but he's a Chelsea fan. He put, "I'd be tempted to get Chelsea right first." You know, like,
so true.
Focus on this first, right? When you get this, then you can start thinking about other clubs. And it's true. What's Todd actually thinking? I don't know.
I think he's got great intentions. And I like what he's trying to do, and I like what his vision is and what he wants to. But putting that on paper is a whole different ballgame, and actually, applying that is a whole different ballgame. And he's very intelligent, and he's got a lot of experience in sports. So I don't question him or doubt him yet. But I hope we don't spend crazy amounts of money on players. And then realize we don't have any money left because we've spent all of this money and we've thought to ourselves, this is going to take us to here. And we're not quite actually there because it's a lot more difficult than it seems. And we haven't quite understood the situation of just the scale of what we're trying to accomplish and how we're trying to get to that next level and what that actually takes. And we've got a few things wrong, or we've overspent here and bought the wrong player there. And then suddenly I don't want him to become disillusioned, or then he starts taking the money back. And so these are just things where 5-6 years down the line, if his grand, scheme of these young players coming through doesn't work, how will he respond as an owner? How will he respond to that?
And do you know what, Matthias? That's such a fantastic point. Like, he's not really taken the time to let me just learn what's going on first here. Because I'll tell you, one of the first phenomenon that got dusted immediately was his ideology about trade. He thought, I'm going to come in, players that are not part of Chelsea Football Club, I'll just trade them out and buy whoever I want to buy from whoever else, and I'll just trade. I'll go to Juventus. I want De Ligt. You guys want to take Pulisic? Let's make a trade. Brother, they don't work like that. This is not basketball now, man. This is not baseball or whatever else. Do you know what I mean? Like, in America, trade is huge.
Huge.
You trade players. That's how you do your deals, right? You compensate the other team by giving one of your players. Football, and this is just one example, boys, like where the trade phenomenon, like how often have we seen trades? Very rare occasion do we see trades, because the buying club feels that their player is getting devalued. Do you know what I mean? Like, say, for example, we say to West Ham, for argument's sake, we'll take Declan Rice, we'll give you Chalobah. So we'll give you Chalobah, we'll take Declan Rice, plus we'll give you 20 mil. West Ham might say, well, how much are you valuing Chalobah then? Do you know what I mean? What's your valuation? Because I'm thinking Declan Rice is 100 million. Like, this is what West Ham might say. So you're going to give me cash. So Chalobah's worth 80 million now. So it just devalues their player. So he'll understand that trade is not easy to do. And there's other little bits and pieces, man. I feel like you should have just, I know you're a successful businessman and all that, but that's in a different region. In here in Europe, in football, you should have taken a bit of time to just assess the situation. It's such a good point, Younes, that you said that guy from Sky Sports, fix Chelsea before you buy a Portuguese club. Then you're going to have two clubs that are in the mud.
Well, I think him buying these Portuguese clubs is part of his plan to fix Chelsea, in terms of he wants to obviously loan players out to these teams. So then
he wants to do what Man City have done.
Yeah, the young players have an option to go and actually play games for a competitive team in Europe. So that buying of other clubs is part of his plan to fix Chelsea. I don't think he's going to buy these clubs and then be as engrossed and as, you know, committed to these clubs from a top to bottom standpoint as he is with Chelsea. But yeah, I think, you know, he's got to give Potter time. He's got to get this sporting director and technical director signing correct. It's better to do nothing. I know he doesn't want to do these roles anymore, but it's better to wait for Edwards than to get it wrong, because Edwards is a sure thing. It's as close as you can get to a sure thing right now. Him and Campos. And there's probably a few others that people will talk about in the comments. But you need to make sure this is an A grade, because this is the person that you're basically asking to lead the footballing side of your project for the next 10 years. Or what they do is going to have an everlasting effect for the next 10 years. Say that. Because Edwards has left Liverpool, but the effect still goes on somewhat if FSG actually pulled the money out of their ass. So, yeah, I think for us, we got to get this correct, man. But the team right now, there's a couple concerns I mentioned with a couple players, but overall, I feel pretty refreshed going into the Palace game. Like, I feel pretty at ease. I don't really feel too much pressure, even though I do know we need to win. And AC Milan next week, we really need to win. The pressure really is on there. We're going to be hearing.
And their manager already said, Empoli is the one that they're worried about. Chelsea, if they show up against Chelsea, they'll get the result. Empoli is the one that they're worried about the weekend. And I'm like, if that doesn't put a fire up your backside, Chelsea team, like, seriously, that in itself, I don't care whether a lot of people will comment, because, it's lost in translation. That's probably not what he meant. I don't care. I'm going to take it that's what he meant. I want to hate. I want to hate. And I want the players to hate. Do you know what I mean? Because for them to just say, if they turn up and play at their optimum level, they'll get a victory.
Kante's back in light training, it seems. Aubameyang's no face mask now, so he seems to be at least feeling fully refreshed and whatnot, which is great to see. Before we wrap up, what's the confidence levels going into Palace? Do you think we'll get the win, Miss?
Man, Palace ain't easy. Like, Palace, they've given Arsenal a very tough go. They drew against Liverpool, probably could have won. They were leading 2-0 against City before City did a madness to come back. I don't know. We've got that caliber of madness in us to come back like that.
Actually, there's a very important point I was just about to forget. Trevor Chalobah is being trained as a 6, as a DM.
Yeah.
How does everybody? I mean, I've spoken about this before. Trevor Chalobah in a 6, but not as heavily as Ampadu, because I know Ampadu's actually played there for Wales and whatnot. I think those were our only 2 existing options in the squad before he left on loan, if we didn't sign anyone. And obviously, I mean, Zakaria seems like as if in his international games he's off the pace. Put it politely.
I don't think he even played.
Yeah, he does. I think he played a cameo appearance, maybe off the bench. But he doesn't seem like as if he's up to the. He doesn't seem like he's ready to start the game against Palace. The magnitude of that game, the pace of that game, seems like we'd be throwing him under the bus. So that's why apparently Chalobah's being trained as a 6 as well. That plays a part in that. I mean, for me, I'm intrigued, I would say. I'm not saying it's definitely going to work, because I know he's played there before, but to play it for us is a whole different ball game. You've got to be press resistant. You've got to scan. You've got to be able to pick up the ball for centre backs. You've got to be able to turn. You've got to be able to do all these things. Be a progressive passer. People want assists from this position. People want the whole lot. So what's your take on that, Miz, when you saw that? Are you excited to see Trevor in the 6?
Do you know what? Just a couple of days before that news, there was talks about him leaving in January. So I said on that video that I would not let this guy go. He's versatile. You could potentially play him as a DM. 2 days later, news, he's being trained as a DM. And I'm like, I'm glad that this is what's happening, because we all knew that he has that in him. However, in my recent video, I said, I'm okay with him playing as a DM, but that combination, whoever else is going to be part of that midfield, is very important, because let's be honest, Trevor Chalobah is going to be able to do a lot of things that Jorginho can't do off the ball, being robust defensively, this, that, the other. With the ball, let's not kid ourselves. Jorginho can control the tempo of the midfield, tempo of the match. He can ensure that the opposition doesn't see too much of the ball. Can Chalobah do that with the ball? Of course, not to that level, but taking nothing away from Chalobah. He's quite decent on the ball. He's put on some magnificent passes from that RCB role last season. We saw he's got the capacity to do that, but not to that level. So let's not have Chalobah as the deepest midfielder, then give him Conor Gallagher on the right side, Mason Mount on the left side, and then that trio is just gonna, as Matisse likes to say, what's that word, Matisse, that you always say? Discombobulate. We gotta be very careful about the combination. You're gonna play Trevor Chalobah as the deepest midfielder, making him basically mopping up everything. Not Kovacic. Really. You gotta have Kovacic. You have to have Kovacic on the left, because he's going to be the one who's going to have all the duties to build up from the back, and he's going to be the main guy. And you also need to have another technical player right next, because opposition will know that Kovacic is the main guy, so they'll try and zero in on him.
Yeah,
and you got to have someone on that right side as well. And
I wouldn't mind Mason, Kova, and Trevor. I wouldn't mind seeing that, because when I saw Mason dropping in deep against Salzburg, I'm not gonna lie, it made me smile. I really did. I thought, wow, this is refreshing. He's getting touches on the ball. He's dropping deeper. I want him to drop deep, start switching play, getting his foot on the ball, passing it out wide, passing it in between. I want Mount to really take this deeper midfield role and start moving the ball like a Brighton midfielder. Do you know what I mean? With speed.
I would love that.
That's what I want. When he came on against England, he gets the goal. Hopefully that brings a bit of confidence. I want to see it. Because as much as people right now really, really doubt him, I think there's a very, 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 very top player in there potentially. And I think in his coaching, I feel like in the last year, I feel like he's regressed a little bit in his own performance, and just in terms of, I haven't seen anything improve. I haven't seen anything kick on, something go up to the next level. And I don't know if that's maybe too much tactical responsibility or what it is, because he was very important tactically for Lampard and Tuchel. Maybe it's just a little bit of an overload tactically, and then not enough freedom to actually maybe play football. But I don't know what it is, but I feel like he hasn't kicked on. He's maybe even slightly regressed, because I feel like he's become a lot more erratic, and he's not as composed and fluid. People think that this is a kick and rush player. And I can understand why they would think that, because that's what they've seen recently. But I actually think this player has actual genuine calmness, composure, and some level of skill to him. I really do. I don't know about that with Gallagher because I haven't seen it. So Gallagher, I'm a lot harsher with in terms of his ceiling and what I actually really see for him. I don't really see that same level of ability. But I think Mount is in a different conversation. I think if he starts to get under Potter and hopefully he gets around him and coaches him and really kicks him on, I think as a deep midfielder, I think we could see hopefully a rejuvenated player. I really do. So I really want him to take that position and make it his own. When he was playing on that right-hand side, he had a lovely link up with Reece James. And Reece James is right next to him. You can't ask for more quality next to you out there on that right. Someone that is assured, confident. Sometimes maybe some people say too overconfident, but he knows his position and he's very assured in himself and he knows what he does.
They have chemistry as well.
Exactly. You can't ask for that. And I've always said Mount seems to do well in that right channel. That's where he seems to do quite well, in that right half space, in that right channel. He seems to do pretty well over there. So I think for me, he also needs to I know he's one player of the year, but I'm just wanting to see after this poor start to the season and really performance-wise last season a little bit at times, I want to see not just statistical Mount, I want to see general play Mount.
Agreed.
What's that man Dave Mount?
Because statistical Mount looking good. Every time, you go on Twitter, you can see most goals scored in how many games and all this. I don't care about all that. I want to see general play Mount. I just want to watch the game and know that regardless of an assist or a goal, Mount played well.
Exactly.
Really, this team shouldn't rely upon Mount for goals. Mount's being the top scorer because everybody else doesn't score. But I'm not looking to Mount for majority of my goal output. If he gets the similar amount of goals that he got last year, but he plays better for the rest of his career, I will be so happy. Modi, I can't believe. I will be delighted. If he keeps scoring those amount of goals from that position, but he plays better and he creates more chances from open play and his passing improves and his composure, if all of that side of his game improves, the side that the younger crowd don't care about anymore, and it's just GA, fuck the GA. I just want to see all that stuff improve. Better player, better all-round footballer to watch. If that all improves, brilliant. I think we're sorted.
Do you know what? We need to understand the players that we have now. Like, we can get other players down the track and we can reassess again. But the way I look at it, it's like when Klopp was in his prime days with Liverpool. That midfield was. They were the runners. They were the engines. They were the ones that were counter-pressing, winning the ball, and just distributing the ball out to their forwards.
Yeah.
And their forwards did all the damage. I feel like why not have that level of a midfield because of the quality, the caliber of midfield that we have now? Have that outset and then just get the ball out to the attacking players immediately and let them do the damage. Our issue is, besides Sterling,
they don't do damage.
But besides Sterling, it's not like we have a Salah, Mane, and we just
they do a different type of damage to us.
they do a damage to us. So like down the track, if that's the thing that we want to go with, unless we go with a Man City type of model where we get the technical ballers in the middle of the park, find those people, because I feel like I agree with you, Matisse. Like Mount deeper, quick. Get the ball, one touch pass. Keep it moving, Move, pass, move. Create space. Go into the space. And just release the ball to the attackers straight away.
He needs to get much better at assessing his options and making the picture clear for himself. It's all about in the head, intelligence, scanning, and all these things. That's all I want from him is improvement mentally. When you're on that football pitch, I just need you to know what's going on around you on another level. That has to go up to another level. The awareness, the picture needs to be clearer. Some there's very finite things in football that make a great player from just a good player. And people will be like, how did Kevin De Bruyne, spot that or play that pass? It's because he looked 2 seconds ago and he looked and he saw it. So then when he got the ball, I was screaming at Kai because he didn't look. He received the ball in the 10 and then he looked. But then you're rushing and you've got the ball and you're running and and then he just passes it to Mount. And Aubameyang is right there. Yeah. And you would know he was right there if you looked before you picked up the ball. The ball's coming to you. look, ball comes to you, but that you only do that if you're confident. But if you're not confident of your first touch and you're not confident that you're going to even control the ball correctly, or you know what I mean, then you're just not going to do all these things. And then you're going to, because I used to be this guy in Sunday League, way lesser level, but I wasn't scanning because I was worried about whether I just fucking touch this ball properly first when it comes. Yeah, perfect. All right, what's going on?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But that's what happens when your confidence levels are so low. So I'm hoping that Potter's able to up these confidence levels, and then these guys, the basics just become second nature. And I think when the basics are second nature, then you'll start to do the other basics, which is off the ball stuff with you know, the swivels and the scanning, and then hopefully then the difficult passes, we'll see if that can be accomplished. But that's going to take coaching.
I think with Mount, you're completely spot on. We've got no concerns with him physically. Nothing at all. Maybe man's a machine if he wants to be. Yeah, man can run for like 20 hours if he just wants continuously. Not a problem. But yeah, mentally, it's those little details. That's why sometimes you see him take that extra second on the ball, loses possession. Yeah. Sometimes you see him take that extra second on the ball, misses a pass, has a chance to be able to release someone, doesn't, then realizes he should, passes it, gets intercepted. Those little things. Takes a little too long on the ball, should go into a certain space, doesn't, goes into another space or goes backwards. We kill the action. It's those little things. It's those minuscule details that will make Mount go from right now, which seems lackluster, to, oh wow, he's performing. And it's just, as you've said, before he gets the ball, needs to be aware. Awareness is key. It reminds me of that pass that Foden made to Sterling against Germany. See that pass where it went completely around the entire defense to land right in front of Raheem Sterling? Yeah. It's those sort of passes. It's that sort of awareness. Yeah, and then he tried to cut in and it got saved. It's that sort of awareness that we demand from those players that are playing in the Chelsea midfield or are playing ahead of the person that's sitting deep. You need to have that sort of vision. If not, where's it all going to come from?
Exactly.
The wings. No. We need to have it. And if Mount is able to get that extra second of awareness and tempo to his game, and he can think and go, I know exactly what I'm going to do the moment I get the ball, and he executes it, I feel like it won't just take his game to the next level, it will take everyone around him to the next level. Because that position is key.
People ask, why are we talking about Kai and Mount at length? Why are we not talking about Pulisic? Why are we not talking about Ziyech? Why these guys are not performing? Do you know why? Because Mount and Kai are the key players apparently in the team, and they're the starters, and they're the future of the football club. So they're the ones that have to be better, because these bench players can get sold. And the best, I'm going to say it like this: the best players need to be better at this football club. If you're going to be one of the best players, one of the starters that people don't even want to sign another player in your position because they have to start. Oh, Mount has to be in the team. Okay, if you have to be in the team, then you have to be one of the best players in the world in your position. That's what we're trying to get to. Because if you're going to play for Chelsea and we're going to get back to the top and you're going to be starting in Premier League winning teams, you have to be one of the best players in the world in your position. So there's a lot to improve. So when people talk about, why are you talking about him? Because he's clearly one of our best players. Look at his statistics. Look at the performances. Look at the rest of the guys. Talk about the rest of the guys. I don't give a fuck about the rest of the guys, because the rest of the guys are leaving. The rest of the guys are getting sold. But the best players need to be better, because the best players in this team right now don't put us at the top of the Premier League. So what's up?
Exactly. The thing is, with these players, they're key. The play runs through them. It's like with Man City. If all of a sudden De Bruyne were to have bad form, all right? Alongside that, let's say Mahrez has bad form. Who are you more than likely to turn to and go, yo, you need to fix up? It's not going to be Mahrez. It's going to be De Bruyne, because the play runs through KDB. The entire plan, the way that the build-up goes, the way that the team moves, more than likely is going to go through KDB. Why? Because his position is key. Mason Mount for Chelsea, his position is key. Kai Havertz, his position is key. If they're not playing well, if we can't run it through them, who are we going to run it through?
And do you know what? If you look at some of the best players in the past, present, and whoever is going to come in the future, some of the best players, and you guys will agree with this, they are scanning non-stop.
Lampard doing it all the time.
Lampard, I was going to say
Frank Lampard.
Lampard. Oh my God.
Have a look at Frank Lampard without the ball. When he doesn't. Don't worry about when he has the ball. He's a baller when he has the ball. Don't worry about that. When he doesn't have the ball.
Bro, but it's the same with Xavi, Iniesta, all these guys, bro. When you watch them, they were scanning all the time. That's what I noticed. My first game at Stamford Bridge was at home to Aston Villa, 1-1 draw. Yep. And I just kept watching Lampard. The guy is always scanning, always. Even when the ball's at the centre backs, with the goalkeeper, some players are just walking around, just chilling because the ball's not near them, so I don't need to worry. Lampard is scanning, just checking where everybody is, just in case.
See, just in case. Is a data analyst. That is a data analyst. Do you know what I mean? Because you're scanning, you're taking information in, you're filling your brain with because you can't awareness. It's awareness. You can't. You've got two eyes. You can't have it everywhere. But milliseconds, just creating a picture. So by the time the ball comes, a second ago I saw this guy here. Boom, it's gone there. And then everyone oh my God, what a pass! I didn't even see. You didn't see because.
He saw it 5
seconds ago.
You didn't see it because he saw it 2, 3, 4 seconds ago. Exactly.
And this is the thing, man. And Younes and Matisse both bang on. How many times did we see Mount or Kai or Pulisic? They get the ball, then they look up, then they scan. Yeah, I'm gonna go there.
It's too telegraphed.
You've lost the ball.
But this is telegraphed. It's telegraphed. It's like when you telegraph a shot. Or you telegraph a chat up line in a bar. It's too obvious. Like sweet, like someone's trying to be swept off their feet here. But the centre backs are just like, yeah, I saw that chat up line coming. Yeah, he had the whole joke lined up. That Pulisic, that Mason, that Kai. He received the drink. Then he turned, then he walked all the way over to me, and it took him 5 minutes. And by the time he got here, I was like, bro, I already know what you're going to say. I've already intercepted.
Beat it.
No. Whereas if you just pick up the drink and just boom, just dash it, they were like, whoa, what happened there? Do you know what I mean?
Sometimes even throw the drink at me. Catch me off guard. Do you know what I mean? Boom, in my head.
Wow, I didn't realize I needed a little gin and tonic on top of me of refreshing. This is wonderful. Who are you? I feel so refreshed in this crowded, claustrophobic space.
It's the thing, man. Far too many times we see them, take too long, and by then the complexion of the situation is already changed.
Exactly.
It's changed. Like. Something else should have happened, not that pass. Something else should have happened.
By the time you played the pass should have already been at the player's foot, and we should be somewhere else.
And now all of a sudden the action dies, and then it's predictable, and then we got to go again. Then we start circulate. Yeah.
And this is why I know a lot of people. A couple of things I want to say before I'll give it off to the boys. One. This is what I feel a little bit for Thomas Tuchel, because he didn't. That if you guys honestly believe that's the kind of football he wanted to play, you're having one, because Thomas Tuchel will get a job very, very soon. Mm-hmm. Whether it's Bayern Munich, whether it's Juventus, where he's going to get a top job, because he's a manager in demand. Do you know what I mean? He's a manager in demand.
No England.
Top managers are scared because he's going to get a job off them. Do you know what I mean? So that's one thing. The other thing, Jorginho. Like, people don't understand these things about Jorginho, where he's able to one-touch pass it, and you go, whoa, I didn't know that pass was on. But yeah, just basic passes as well. It doesn't have to be extravagant ones that he finds someone in the open, but it's in the build-up, the one-touch with cover at times, and you go, wow, how they squeeze out of that situation. There was 4 on them. Do you know what I mean? And just quick, it's things like that. I know there's other flaws of Jorginho. Live chat before you go mad. Oh my God, this guy, talking up. No. I know his flaws. I know. A referee can run past him. I understand. I'm talking about, his awareness, his vision, his passing sense. If some of our midfielders had that level of IQ, like Jorginho, with their physicality, we'd be
especially in advanced areas as well.
Yeah, we'd be a different team.
Well, we're going to wrap up. I mean, I'm glad we had that section after I said we was going to wrap up initially, because I feel like that needed to be had. I'm looking forward to seeing Trevor in the holding midfield position. I have no idea what to really expect in terms of on the ball. Off the ball, I'm expecting the bare basics, cover the ground, win the ball, win the aerial duels, all that good shit. But on the ball, I'm intrigued. And let's see if it works. You know, if we get a regen of a John Obi Mikel Champions League final against Bayern, then I'm happy. Miz, let them know where to find you, bro. Pleasure as always. Brilliant show.
Yeah, man. Brilliant show. Really missed Younes. Good to be back. And it feels like a family again, man. It's good. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, the other side of the coin, I think about 150 subscribers away from 17,000. So let's do that. That'd be great. And yeah, huge October lined up, lads. Oh my God.
Massive. 9 games.
I am not sleeping. Don't tell my wife, though.
Oh, it's going to be bedlam. It's going to be mad. There's 9 games in 1 month.
Yep.
Previews, reviews. Yeah, I don't actually know I'm going to get the time to put in my other videos in the series, but hey, it's going to be interesting. Younes, let them know where to find you, bro. Pleasure. Welcome back.
Thank you, man. Thank you. No, it's been good to be back. It's been good to see all of you guys. Been good to see all of you guys as well. I'll be watching the chat when there's premieres as well, because I can't miss that one. No way. But yeah, man. Really, really good to be back. It's nice to be on here again, and looking forward to all the content and the games coming up. This month is going to be jam-packed, and I think it's going to be a really, really good indicator to see where our season's going. So looking forward to it. Younes Talks Football, as it says right there, is where you'll find all of my previews, my reviews, my content. For the rest of this week, it's double uploads each day. Waking up last time.
Damn.
Yeah. My channel is dead. I am finished. Younes taking over.
Yo, listen, I know he's doing double uploads because I'm watching him. He's doing a madness. He's doing a madness.
Yeah, I saw his thumbnail the other day. I'm like, oh my God, this guy's back in the market.
But yeah, no, looking forward to it, and yeah, we'll see what Chelsea do.
There you go. Well, guys, for me, obviously, you know, previews are coming for Crystal Palace. I'm gonna go to Selhurst Park, I think, and do the preview at the stadium. And I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And yeah,
are you going to any matches? Because you were going last season.
I was going last season. This season, I've kind of held back now that I've taken all these new bills and all of these new energies and heatings and all these things. I'm now just focused on content and paying bills. So I don't know when I'm going to go to another game, but I'm going to wait for the recession to be over first for sure. And really, I'm trying to put it back into the content. I've started a new show with, well, it's not a new show. It's meant to have started a while ago, but Dami and Anita, we got the podcast, we got the studio. We're trying to do that every week, and we're going to have to pay for the studio. And yeah, just editor and all these just new things to try and make. I'm really now just the content as good as it can get is what I'm aiming for. So quality. So yeah, I'm a sacrifice going to some games. And also just wait for Popball to really kick off so we can be enjoying the football, because worst thing to do right now is go Stamford Bridge. And before it was pretty shoddy football, shoddy atmosphere. I must say the away game's great atmosphere, but Stamford Bridge atmosphere is very poor. Dead. And then we weren't even winning. So what the fuck? and then the trains are cancelled as there's strikes. So really, yeah, there was no need for me to be doing that. You know, fair play to the ones that do, but mental health is so needed. And my girlfriend's at home, so I don't need all that shit. But yeah, big up your damn selves. Make sure you smash up the likes, smash up the icons, and yeah, subscribe. Yeah, I know you guys are gonna be buzzing for the show to be back in a bit, people. Peace.